Hello and welcome back to the Potential Difference Research Lab. I'm going to continue with the new physics segment of our discussion regarding the new laws of physics as a result of potential difference research, beginning shortly after 9/11. Making our big scientific breakthrough in 2007 and continuing to today. So what I'm going to do is, I've already gone over this in a previous video, but I want to do it again and re-emphasize where the physics community went wrong in the early 1800s and how the global scientific community, the physics community, has already established that energy can be created and that the law of conservation of energy doesn't apply in electric machines, but they haven't been able to see it yet. So we'll start with correcting Lenz's law, and then we'll use Lenz's law to demonstrate, number one, how energy can be created and why the law of conservation of energy doesn't apply in electric machines. So Lenz's law is named after physicist Emil Lenz, who formulated in 1834 that the direction of the current induced in a conductor by a changing magnetic field, and that's according to Faraday's law of induction, is such that the magnetic field created by the induced current opposes the initial changing magnetic field. So the key word here, the two key words are magnetic field. Okay, there's a small lie of emission there, and opposes another small lie of emission, and we're going to basically expose those as we go through this. Lenz's law is essentially Newton's third law for electric machines. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. That basically means in an electric generator that for every 1 watt of electrical output, the mechanical input power to the generator needs to be increased by an equivalent 1 watt of mechanical input power. And the video that's coming after this, I'll show how Lenz's law is manifested in a generator. Okay, so the primary flaw is the use of the word opposes. So what does oppose really mean? Oppose means to actively resist. And in an electric generator, the opposition results in the production of a counter-electromagnetic torque. And oppose means to work against, perform negative work, reducing the kinetic energy of an object. So what the scientific community believes, and what they want you to believe for going on almost 190 years now, is that a counter-electromagnetic torque can be produced without energy, and that negative work can be performed without energy, and we're gonna explain why that's rubbish. So if we rewrite Lenz's law correctly and we start to eliminate the little lies of emission, we will end up with the direction of the current induced in a conductor by a changing magnetic field is such that the magnetic field created by the induced current performs negative work, reducing the kinetic energy of the initial changing magnetic field. And again, the negative work is performed by a counter electromagnetic field which is created around the generator coil. So now if we include the work energy principle into Lenz's law, the work energy principle states that when you increase the kinetic energy of an object, you need work to do that, and when you reduce the kinetic energy of an object actively, as in an electric generator, that you also require energy. Energy is the currency. So the change in kinetic energy of an object or system is equal to the net work performed on that object or system, and energy is the currency to perform work in any direction. Increasing the kinetic energy, you need work. Reducing the kinetic energy, you need work. And so the question, where does the energy come from in order to perform the negative work, creating the counter electromagnetic torque, which is required to actively resist the initial changing magnetic field in order to reduce the kinetic energy of the changing magnetic field in order to satisfy Lenz's law without violating the work energy principle. So Lenz's law is expressed in electric vehicles when in regenerative braking, when the EV's motor is used as a generator to recharge the batteries, and it's not regenerative braking per se. It's actually regenerative motoring. The generator is producing a counter electromagnetic torque, which is basically reducing the kinetic energy of the vehicle. So where does the energy come from in order to create a counter electromagnetic torque? Where does the energy come from in order to perform negative work in reducing the kinetic energy of an object? Well, the answer is it's actually in Lenz's law itself. The energy that's required to perform the negative work in order to oppose the changing magnetic field is performed by the electromagnetic field energy that is created. So if we use the work energy principle and we apply that to Lenz's law, we end up with the direction of the current induced in a conductor by a changing magnetic field is such that the created electromagnetic field energy performs negative work and actively opposes the initial changing magnetic field, reducing its kinetic energy. And again, the electromagnetic field energy creates a counter electromagnetic torque, and this counter electromagnetic torque reduces the kinetic energy of the changing magnetic field. Now, the mistake that the scientific community made in the early 1800s, when all they had to deal with was Newtonian mechanics and the law of conservation of energy, they made the mistake of putting electricity and magnetism under the umbrella of Newtonian mechanics. And when you start with a faulty assumption, such as energy can't be created or destroyed, then you basically blind yourself to the truth, and you can't see that in order to oppose something actively, you need a source of energy, and that energy is the electromagnetic field energy that's created. So the mistake that the scientific community has been basically preaching now for almost 200 years is that in an electric generator, energy is not required to perform negative work, nor is it required to create a counter-electromagnetic torque. Negative work can be performed by an electric generator without energy, and all electric generators are able to violate the work energy principle. So this statement is impossible, but if you don't understand what opposes means, and you look at other videos on YouTube where they're explaining Lenz's law, you'll always see the instructor explaining that the magnetic field that's created is performing negative work against the changing magnetic field, but they're not identifying it as such because they're starting with a faulty original assumption that electric generators conform to the law of conservation of energy, and they do not. So again, the next video I'm going to show is a generator performing negative work, and then we'll show how the same magnetic fields inside the generator can be used to perform positive work. All right, stay tuned. Thanks for watching.